Welcome back. Well, there's going to be a little bit of disturbance in the background. The noise comes from the washing machine. I'm washing a blanket that I should have washed a long time ago. But it's happening now, so we're all good. Do you see this? Do you see the room? Like this room I'm sitting in? It's white, isn't it? I know. Look at it. Like over there, over the kitchen counter, nothing. No cabinets. I don't need those. I got nothing to hold there. Got 2 plates, 2 bowls, 2 pair of chopsticks. So 4 chopsticks. And that's pretty much all I own when it comes to kitchen utensils. Don't need those. I put them under there. They fit perfectly snug. Everything that I need to cook myself lovely meals, 3 meals a day, all sheltered over there. That's enough shelter space for those little guys. So those upper shelves that were bolted into the walls no longer needed. Got rid of those. And now look at the plainness. Look at the vacuum that stays over my kitchen counter. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, like I'm really happy about this. The whole process of renovating this apartment took me roughly around 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, a little bit less. I repainted the entire apartment. Well, make it sound super big. It's a 1-bedroom apartment, so I repainted the living room and the bedroom. Both of them are now white. This room used to be creamy colored, and the bedroom used to be dark blue, ocean blue, very dark blue. I had to use 5 coat of white to paint over it. But the outside, the creamy color was fairly easy. I only had 3 coats, and it's very, very white. Can't really tell. Why white? I mean, I just didn't know what else to get. Like they have millions of colors. I'm not even joking. They have like so many colors these days, and the color code was like they were all fancy names. I couldn't really tell what they are just from the name. They do have the little cards, and I think it's called the color cards for you to choose from. And there's a brochure or like a book of it, a dictionary of colors. They're just slightly different from one another. I guess the tweaking was very insignificant, but they do give them each of them different names, and they give each of them a different color, a color card. So I didn't want to bother with all that. I don't know if I'm gonna. What if I have like a corner that need to be repainted, and then that means I have to go in and tell the guy who makes the paint, I want the tortoise from Madagascar blue. That's the kind of complicated name I have to recite to them. Tortoise from Madagascar blue from this brand. And maybe they would tell me, hey, we don't have tortoise from Madagascar, but we have tortoise from Indonesia. Is that like a color you would be comfortable with? I don't know. I mean, if the rest of the room is tortoise from Madagascar, I don't know if the tortoise from Indonesia would get along with those guys, you know. So to play it safe, I just went with a basic mate black white. Excuse me. It's just a basic white, the most basic white. They have like many shades of white these days too, but I was going with the most basic white. So it's just white. If one day I want to paint this over, I don't have to pick that particular brand that I was using. I can just go to buy any different kind of paint and then paint the entire room over. That's in the weirdest way, that eases my mind. That make me feel confident about my ability to continue improving my room. I guess it's about that sense of being in control, having options. But yeah, After painting the whole entire living room and bedroom, I decided I need to get rid of some furniture that I don't use. At least in the past 4 years, I really had a mental picture, some sort of an idea of what I want, what I don't want in this apartment. It was really building up to the point that there's something that I just couldn't take anymore. But something I learned how to live with. For example, let me take an example. Over there under the kitchen counter, there's this one hole, and it wasn't supposed, by design, it wasn't supposed to be a hole. I believe it used to be the space reserved for an oven, like an integrated oven, because right over there to that side, it's integrated dishwasher, and then over there is just cabinets, right? Nothing special, but I believe this used to be a space for an oven. But the previous owner, or the owner previous to the previous owner, probably took it out when they moved away, sold the apartment. Don't know why. Don't know why they would take it away, but to be honest, it's really beyond me why they would take an integrated appliance like out and then go away with it. But maybe they really dig it. Maybe there was some sentimental value attached to it. Maybe they baked the first turkey in that oven for Christmas, and they want to have that scent lingering on for the rest of their life. I don't know. I'm babbling, but they took it away, and it was a hole when I moved in already. I figure I would put in an oven as soon as I have the money to spare or have the urge to bake something myself, but neither thing happened. I never really got the money to spare, nor did I had the urge to bake something. So it was remaining empty for the years to come. And instead, what I had in there was the trash can. It was supposed to be inside the cabinets all the way down that direction. But I guess like if there's a hole, I'd rather make use of it. So it was easy access. I put the garbage bin in there. And I grew to like it. Now if I were to put the garbage bin back into the cabinet and have to open the door every single time when I'm just throwing away the trash, I wouldn't feel like it. It's just too much work. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Now, just throwing things away into this garbage can in the open space in that hole that used to be the hole for a microwave. Used to be the place for an oven. It feels very handy, and I wouldn't change it. Actually, I decided to keep it that way, even though it might not look the most pleasant or aesthetically pleasing. Even the guests coming over used to comment on that, saying that I was the ultimate functionalist. But hey, I take that as a compliment, if anything. The ultimate functionalist. Tell you what, the shelves that I'm looking at right now, sitting on the other end of the living room, it's actually for a workshop. Those tool sheds, I guess that's what they're called. Not tool sheds, but tool shelf or a workspace, workshop shelf. They're just bare metal, galvanized, and then they have planks, wooden planks over them, separating them into several shelf space. Incredibly cheap. I got them 20 euros from Bauhaus. Yes. They promised to hold 175 kilos of weight on them, and I find it incredibly useful because I got all these like small gadgets I don't know where to put in the apartment. Like they're miscellaneous. There's no way I can, just like find appropriate place for them. But with this shelf, it's very, very good because they're all accessible now. If they're hidden away, obviously you can make it pleasant and good looking. Like all those minimalistic rooms that you see on YouTube. I saw those, like they're very minimalistic. I actually saw the video of Kanye West showing his not apartment but his house in Calabasas or whatever. It was empty. God, it was empty. But I'm assuming he got a lot of stuff too, but it was just tucked away. But for me, unlike Kanye West, the ultimate functionalist as I am, I want to have direct access to all my gears and whatever, like readily around me. So I don't have to open like a fucking, I don't know, vault to get it out. So this shelf really serves the purpose. It's open space. It's very grand. Um, and I have 5 layers, five shelves, I guess. On the bottom, you have the toolbox for hand tools, and then over that, electronic stuff with my mom's painting. Over that, what is that? Oh, well, yeah, for podcasts tools, and over that for all my outdoor hobbies like yogas and fitness equipment and whatever. And on top of it, it's toys. That's it, like Legos, I guess. I can go get any of those. If I feel like playing with my toy, playing with my Lego, I go for the top shelf. If I want to take a look at what kind of charger I have, I go for the second on the bottom. If I want to make a podcast like I'm doing right now, I go for the third one. It's just so incredibly systematic and is readily available. Even though it looks a little bit too bare metal and functionalist and industrial, it's nonetheless very pleasant to live with. But on the other hand, there was something in the past 4 years of me living in this apartment that I never got used to. So let me give you an example. First, it was a wardrobe in the hallway, and the second was my bed. Luckily, I finally pulled the plug, got rid of both of them, and I couldn't be happier. The mattress now sat directly on the ground, and I have never got better sleeps. You know, I do recognize this is all in my head. The bed wasn't that bad. It was actually a pretty decent bed frame. But the thing is, if something is in my head, it just bothers me. I don't know. Even isn't that everything? Like if I feel bothered by it, I should get rid of it. You know, mentally, maybe like physical. Getting rid of it was just like a protest, some sort of catalyst for some kind of a mental relief. But once I got rid of both of them, I do feel a lot better. I do feel the room lighten up. It feels like a new beginning. I really do appreciate this little project of mine. It didn't take all that much money at all because I did all the labor myself. After I finish work, and I would just get at it. I'll finish maybe at around midnight, take a shower, sometime not even a shower because the paint was just like overwhelming. Especially the painting period was so messy. Like I got put everything apart, put them in the middle of the room so there was space for me to work around all walls in the room. And it was just a mess in the living space. I couldn't really find a place to stand even for days. But now looking back, it was really worth it because the paint make a difference, even though it's small. The little galvanized workshop shelf makes a difference, even though it's small. The empty counter space over the kitchen counter makes a difference, even though it's small. I may go on. They're all just small changes. I mean, like, no, but when they're like put together, now the big picture is like a significant change for me. I do feel I probably said this like previously. I never really felt truly comfortable at home, and I took pride in that, not being entirely comfortable. Because on the back side of my head, I always have this kind of imperative, that kind of a narrative that I have been feeding myself that I die in comfort. Or, to be even more arrogant, everybody dies in comfort. Yeah, that's the kind of mentality I had. Like, if I'm like entirely comfortable, sinking into a cozy little sofa, really enjoying it, watching TV, having backstreet strips of neon light shining behind the TV, drinking a little zero sugar Coca-Cola. That's hedonist. That's being a hedonist. That's being somebody who enjoy things and couldn't do things. And I don't know how that got into my head. Upbringing, competitive nature, whatever that might be, a synergy of events happened in the past, and I formulated this whole concept that comfort is death, and I rejected it. However, as human, as a lazy bag, as a lazy boy as I am, I did enjoy comfort. So I was very torn by this conundrum of my own mental struggle. How do I reconcile these two? On one side, I believe comfort is death, comfort is decay, comfort is antagonist of growth, I guess. On the other hand, my personal life, my personal existence demands rest and comfort, at least at times. I don't know, man. This is one baby step towards the direction of trying to have a little bit of comfort, inviting a little bit of comfort into my living space. So far, to be honest with you, like I haven't really sinking this experience yet. This might be, for the purpose of this podcast, this might be the first time I'm sitting on the sofa for more than 20 minutes. Well, actually, not even 20. We're at 17 minutes and something. I simply don't know how to relax. I'm in, popular terms, I got no chills. I really got no chills. I don't know how to chill. Never been told how to. Never developed the idea or the ability to chill. And now I'm really trying. Because all this hurrying around, all these years of hustle bustle, all these years of like just being on the move, goal driven, it didn't lead me to like the place I want to be at. No, I mean, I did accomplish certain things, but it's not worth it. And I don't think those things are really what I was looking for either. A quick change of subject, or maybe it's not even a change, but it just came to my mind right now. When I order things like the sofa and the wardrobe from IKEA, they came in really big boxes, carton boxes. And after putting this up myself, which took a tremendous amount of time, the sofa easier, wardrobe nightmare. Literally half a day on that wardrobe. Unbelievable. But that aside, I'm talking about the cardboard. The cardboard boxes that they came in with were huge because they accommodated both the sofa and the wardrobe. It was huge. And after finishing the job of putting this thing together, I was dealing with the cardboard boxes. Like, I didn't know what to do with it. In our apartment building, we do have like a garbage disposal box, or kind of like a cart, I guess, that you can put cardboard papers in. But I was feeling kind of hesitant as for whether I should dispose them just right now, because feels like they could be of use in the future. Like cardboard feels like something so valuable to me, and I just don't know why. I probably said it on the podcast that I'm the kind of person who don't even want to throw away shoe boxes. I feel like they might come in handy. You can hold like all kinds of stuff in them. They're perfectly shaped, angular, and they're kind of low key pretty, brown, down to earth, kind of like nice texture with no fingerprint traces whatsoever. And paper, man, is just way better than plastic. Got no weird scent either. So throwing away all those cardboard boxes felt like a crime to me, and I was hesitant in doing it. But eventually I did cut them into pieces, getting ready to dispose them. But looking at the size, the sheer size of it, and I couldn't help but just thinking, man, what a waste. What a waste. Like for real. I know I'm the cause of this. I'm a part of this whole economic ecosystem I facilitated by purchasing those items from IKEA. I'm not promoting, but I'm endorsing their merchandise. I'm endorsing their economic activity. So in a way, I created all this waste. It's just incredibly heavy. Like both the physical weight of the cardboard as well as how it feels. Like just knowing all this is gotta be like, just waste, throwing away. I know they might recycle it, but still, it didn't feel quite alright to me. My grandparents, they used to make cardboards, boxes. Um, when I was growing up, I used to spend the holidays with my grandparents from my father's side in the countryside of China. It was about 300 kilometers or maybe 200 kilometers away from the city I was living in, Nanjing. And when I was growing up, so it was the turn of the millennial, so early 2000s, 2010s, right? Around there, like the train system in China wasn't really all that good. The trains were slow and they were always packed. They were serving too many people than they could. So every single time we were about to go on a train, it was like a treacherous road because we were going to be sardine canned in there for like many, many hours. Even though it was just 200 some kilometers, they stopped so many stops along the way to get everybody to their little stations here and there all over the province. It was like a nightmare. The smell of the train, the crowd, the toilet, and the smell of like instant noodle, like those things are just like minted. Those things were like branded into my head. I guess because of those, I didn't even get enough opportunity to go meet my grandparents growing up. We used to meet maybe twice a year. In the summer holiday, I'll stay with them for a good 1.5, 2 months. Depends on the length of the holiday. And during the winter as well, when we're having the spring festival, I'll go there for like a couple weeks. Also, winter holiday was kind of short for us as well. I know here in Estonia, like people have longer winter holiday than summer, or maybe it's the same length. I don't know. But back then in China, like the winter holiday wasn't really long. It was like a month or maybe less. But summer holiday was extremely long, 2-3 months, 2.5 maybe. Those are the occasions that I would go home. And during that time, my grandparents was already retired. My grandpa, I never really knew what he was doing. Before he retired, he was kind of like this really like flaneur. Is that the French word? I don't really know what's the translation for. It's kind of like the guy who just hang around, walk around town, checking things out. I hope he wasn't like that. I hope that wasn't his occupation before he retired. But to be honest, I really didn't know what he did before retirement. He did farm, but that couldn't sustain life in the countryside at that time anymore because the yield from the field, the rice, whatever they were growing, wasn't enough. It wasn't even enough for their own consumption, let alone like earning money from there. They had maybe a few acres of land just off the boundary of the town they were living in. They were farmers who owned their own land, not directly, but like the country leased it to them, but only for them. So they kind of, like in a sense, quote unquote, I'm doing the air quoting now, in a sense, owned the land, even though by, the system we had, there's no true ownership. The country owns all the land. But yeah, they were kind of like owning the land. Again, I'm doing the air quoting, owning the land, and they were growing shit. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. They were growing rice and other crops, and it was barely enough for them to eat. It was more of a hobby than anything else. So on the side, my grandfather definitely did something. He was off to the southern part of China in Shenzhen or Guangzhou, or some of those more economically developed and prosperous area to do some manufacturing work. And in the early days of the 90s, when I was really young, maybe a few years old, he was the first guy that brought one of this really chunky phone, cellular phone, cell phones, cellular phone, back to Nanjing. I remember seeing it for the first time, just awed by the fact that they had like a phone and it's not plugged into a cord, and you can carry it away with you to all kinds of places. Yeah, my grandpa was a character, but again, I just don't know what he did for a living. A very mysterious character. But after he retired, after he hit the retirement age, at 60s, I believe, he and my grandma, they both just started folding boxes into shape. So what they did was they take a tricycle and they would load all this like pre-cut shapes of boxes, shoe boxes, cardboard boxes to our yard. And they would just fold it and use glue to glue them into shapes. So for each cardboard they fold, they don't make the board, right? Like I said, it was already pre-cut. All they do is to fold it together, fold it to shape. It used to be flat, now it's 3D. All they do is folding. For each box that fold, they were getting paid. I'm trying to be accurate here. In RMB, that was 10 cent. 10 cent RMB. So changing that into euro, 1.5. Yes, so in today's value, that's 1.5 cent for each box folded into shape. And I'm talking about you've seen a shoebox, right? But maybe it's different from those those one with like a side opening lid that we have nowadays, like the Nike and whatever. It used to be two parts, or at least those one that my grandparents were folding. There were two parts. So it was the lower part for hosting the shoes, and there's a lid. They were separate. There's no connection. There were two parts of a shoebox, detachable. So for that whole box, the base and the lid all together, when they complete the folding of that one entire set, they get paid 1.5 cent, euro cent in today's value. So factoring in the inflation and everything, conservatively, I would say maybe it was used to be 2 cent. in today's value, perhaps, for folding that one box. That's how much they get paid. And that's including taking all those like paper box from the manufacturer and then shipping all those completed folded boxes back to the manufacturer. The whole process, everything together, with the tricycle travel, with all those labors, with pretty much everything included, €2 they get paid. So put that into perspective. If they folded $100, right? If they folded $100, imagine 100 shoebox, Nike box piling up in the corner. 100 shoe boxes. If they folded 100 of those, they get paid €2. You know what I get for €2 in Remy today? Not even 2 bottle of Zero Coke. 1.5 bottle. I gotta pay 1.5 bottle. Some expensive cider nowadays costs more than €2. A hummus, maybe 200 grams of hummus will cost more than €2. I could get some bread and a big bag of milk was €2. A few soaps, not the good one, very basic one. I could get maybe 3 or 4 soaps, three soaps. That's what I get for €2. But that's what they got for folding 100 boxes. How quick do you think they can fold the box? Can they do it in a second? I don't think so. 2 seconds? I don't think so. I observed them working, actually helped as well. But I was very slow. For me, I think it take me 5 minutes or a little bit less to fold one box, and it was not looking right. I mean, like, it sounds like a easy job to fold it, but bear in mind that there's no grooves, there's no like guidelines as for where to fold. There's just a general shape of the box, and you have to make the line straight with rulers and whatever technique they use to fold it precisely to the size and to the measurement, to the right angle as well. So all those things are manual knowledge and their experiences that I didn't have. But yeah, if I were to do it as a job, I don't think I would survive with that much money. Or maybe I would, but I doubt it. So my parents, for the longest time, my time spent with them during the holidays, they were doing this. They were in the yard in front of this apartment, in their apartment, and they were just folding away. There was a little tool shed they had, and they were just like in there or in front of it, working on this little bench they sat on, like a wooden bench, very simplistic, no cushioning, nothing like that. My grandma would just be like sitting on that bench all day if she wasn't cooking. My grandpa would be there too if she wasn't like traveling and walking around town, just, having fun. So that's their retired life. I don't think they needed the money. They had pension, both of them. My aunt, my father's sister, his family was living with them. They were supporting 2 of them as well financially. So I really didn't think they need the money. However, I think it was kind of in their, I wouldn't call it in their blood, but in their blood that they want to work. They want to do something. They just can't just stay idle all day, just sitting there, enjoying life, or maybe go for a walk. They don't know that. Like, they can't. I feel like maybe they don't even want to. Like, Their daily life was to chat with each other, gossiping, and just, maybe humming a song as they're folding away all the shoe boxes. It's insane. That tricycle, picture it, small mountains of finished boxes piling up on the back seat of a tricycle, and there's like my grandma, this very little elderly woman from China, this Chinese old lady, just you know going through town with that mountain, meters tall of like boxes on the back of the tricycle, and just going to like a manufacturer plant, loading them off herself, and get paid €2 for a day of work. Hmm. I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about it. I don't know. This money thing is so weird. They they earn so little amount of for their work, like so little. It's like this little bolt of little bolts in the very very big picture. Little bolts in a big machine that we call global economy. And who are they getting? I don't even know who to blame for this. I blame me. I blame every. It's just the target is so big. I don't know who to blame. You see what I mean? Like everybody contributing to this, I blame themselves for being such people who can't just take a break. Maybe the easiest thing for them to do is just not do it. Not do that. Just quit it. Like they don't need the money. I don't know. I don't know how they managed to do all those things they did. Like they saved money on their my grandparents, my parents. I mean, in recent years, life has looked up a little bit for them. But as I grew up, like I remember how minuscule of income they had. I say minuscule as minuscule, like by any standard, it was minuscule. I don't know how they lived off that, and and it was incredible because I never felt like I was materially deprived. I never felt like I needed more than I had. Being very resourceful. I remember I was never wearing Nikes or Adidas or anything like that. I didn't even thought about it like until I turned maybe 15. I didn't see the difference. I mean, I knew those were expensive brand. They were like high end when I was in the middle school and elementary school. I never thought about it. Like those are for the fancy people. Those are for the people who were born with a silver spoon, or maybe gold spoons. Who knows? But I never thought about it. I never thought like one day I'll be wearing Nikes. Like, what am I, royalty? Right? Like I was excited about going to KFC. Like legit, I was excited about that. Going to KFC brought me to tears. Maybe not tears, like literal tears, but excitement tear of excitement for sure. It was a happy occasion, like a rare occasion too, because it was so expensive. And my parents, they wouldn't eat. Even when I was going to KFC or McDonald's, they would just buy me a burger or some wings and they would watch me eat. You know, they wouldn't eat because they couldn't afford it. I went to Pizza Hut once when I was in the middle school. So 2006 or 7, I remember. I went inside. Pizza Hut, bro. Pizza Hut. Let this sink in for a second. Pizza Hut. They serve trash pizza. I wouldn't even eat it if you just feed it to me for free today. And I said it without animosity. I said it was like the most sincere intention that I wouldn't eat it because it's not that good. But back then, it was like we went there and my mom was like trying to. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I guess he was trying to like spoil me a little bit. He said, "Pinchon, let's go on Pizza Hut today. You can order whatever." We lined up in front door, and there was a line. It was a fancy place, you know. Sitting there, a waitress or a waiter came in, and he told us his name. He said, "Today I'm gonna be a waiter, so if you need anything, just call me." He went away. I left the menu on the table. Me and my mom grabbed it. We opened it. I was like, "What? What?" I remember the surprise at the price tag. It was 2-digit price in RMB in every single items. Next to every single item, it was 2-digit. I mean, like 2-digit in RMB. So let's just move the decimal 1 to the front. Then you roughly get the euro amount. So if it's a 10 RMB, it's €1 or 1.5. But let's say just 10 times, right? So let's say 10 RMB equals to €1. So I was looking at this pasta and it was about 60 or maybe even less, maybe 40, but somewhere in the middle of 100. And that converted to euro is like €6, and I guess a lot of people wouldn't even blink an eye when they order it. You know, here if you say like you go to Vapiano or wherever, and you say, "Oh, I'm gonna have a pasta," and it's gonna run you maybe 10, 15, 20 euros. I don't know. But back then, that €5 was a mental world to my parents. I could tell. I still didn't had an idea about the significance of that amount. To me, it was a big amount. I already knew that. Because my shoes was about that much. Maybe a little bit more, but my shoes literally was 5 to 10 euros. It wouldn't cost a lot more than that. No, no, no. Oh no, God no. Like Nike back then was selling for maybe 300-400, and I was like, what kind of people buy 300 shoes? And again, this is not euro amount. This is RMB. Moving one decimal, we're talking about 30-40 euro. And that was exorbitant amount. So at the Pizza Hut, all we did was my mom was like, I could tell the hesitation, man. Like I could tell she was having second thought about this whole Pizza Hut idea, because we're probably not going to eat for the rest of the month because of that. What happened was we ordered two pasta. The simple. My mom ordered like the cheapest pasta on the menu, and I got like a creamy one that I think was pretty nice. It was pretty decent. I never had pasta before. To me, it just felt like noodle. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It was a cool experience. Feels new. Never had never had pasta before, so it was cool. But we didn't order pizza because pizza was too expensive. Oh my god, this is just weird to even think about. I mean, like, I hope. It's really interesting because I never heard them complain about it, as if it's all their fault that they couldn't afford things. I don't remember them ever say anything about their situation. My dad was working on um, getting certified as a chartered accountant. I think he was learning every day on textbook that he bought every day after work, like until midnight by himself, just trying to get certified, trying to earn a little bit of more money to support the family. And my mom really just like cooked every meals, and we never went out and eat for years. I didn't know what was a restaurant tasting like because like they just, I guess they couldn't afford it. But I never heard them complain. I don't think nobody complained around me. Not really. Everybody just took it as if like that's it. That's reality. That's the thing that I have to deal with, that we have to deal with. And it's nobody's fault. They never thought it's anybody's fault. They're just trying to make it work, I guess. I don't know. You know, only years later, only a lot, maybe not recent, but after I graduated high school, right around the time I went to college, I got to know that my grandparents' town called Danyang, that was actually a small town that's famous for producing sunglasses and glasses, medical glasses, and shoes. It's very leather shoes specifically. They produce like a large proportion. I'm not gonna quote numbers here, but a large, considerable amount of leather shoes for not only China but the world. They were doing they were doing outsourced work for Italian designer brand. They were doing it for a lot of big name brands around the world. Even though they were branded as made in Italy or made in the U.S. or made in wherever, the initial process were done in China. But just like how they were outsourced to my grandparents, they do the very initial step of producing the leather shoes, and then the final step, as long as the final steps, maybe like just like folding the cardboard boxes into a cardboard box, as long as those final steps were done in Italy or in the US, they will be considered made in the US or made in Italy. The same goes for the glasses. Like they produce like so much glasses and they become known for it. And back then, their classmates, knowing that my origin was from Danyang or my grandparents were from there, and instantly, requested some kind of a reference or some kind of a referral, I guess, to a decent glasses shop so they can get it for cheap. And nowadays I look at on Instagram. On Instagram, people selling those blue light blocking glasses for using computer, and they're marketing them, saying, "Oh, this is so cool. This is like this design, that design." And it's got run you close to 100 euro or less. I don't know, 100, let's say. And I know it's gonna cost somebody like my grandpa like €1 or less to make that thing. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I don't talk to my grandparents from my father's side at all. Not all that much. I mean, like, I never met them all that much. I do like them. I think they might like me, even though my mom used to tell me they don't. But I do think they like me. My grandpa specifically. But I don't know. I don't know what to talk to them. I think they're really still doing this these days, folding boxes. But just thinking about it is so unreal. Maybe a little bit dystopian that in a world that is so like modernized and so we call so-called advanced, in a world that Elon Musk is trying to send everybody to Mars. My grandparents in the corner of a town in Jiangsu, Nanjing, not in Jiangsu, Nanjing, but in Jiangsu, China, is hand folding shoe boxes for Nikes, maybe Dior. I don't know if they make shoes, but it's just very, very bizarre to even think about. And I'm sitting here in my apartment in Tallinn, Estonia, doing a podcast about them. It's truly just something that I don't. I mean, what can I do? Really, what can I do? I feel powerless. Besides telling this as a story, besides saying this out loud, I don't know what kind of conclusion I can come up with. I have no word to say it. Like, do I blame somebody? Do I praise them for their workmanship? No, none of those. I think none of those things, none of those like commentary would really justify what they're doing or like really put things into perspective. And plus, what perspective? I don't even know where to begin with. This whole thing is just so out of my comprehension. I can't really analyze it. I don't know how to analyze it. Blame whom? Why blaming? If they're not blaming, oh, who am I to blame? I never folded many boxes. I never get paid €2 for a day of work. I get paid like hundreds of euros for a day of work, and I still like, oh, maybe I should pay a little bit more. No fucking way. It's pretty intense. Whoa. I mean, it's close to an hour now. I don't know where the time went. Actually, quite a it's really an interesting episode. I don't know why I went there. I wasn't planning to. I was planning to have like a very light episode about how I renovated the apartment, but somehow this is what we end up with. Why? All right, let's stop right here. Let's stop right here. I'm gonna need some time to take a break from this. It's feeling a little bit too heavy, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to put myself on the list of getting vaccinated. Right now, I'm still not on the priority list, but I could ask my family doctor to put me on the list in case somebody cancel, and I could just fill in at short notice. I'm willing to do that. I'm not picky with a brand of vaccination I could get. I'm okay with all brands actually. and I'll get it. I really do want to get it because I mean, why not? Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I'll get some painting hanging up and this place will look a little bit better. Over the kitchen counter, I have one idea that I do want to put on that. Remember Jules from Pulp Fiction? Uh, Samuel Jackson, right? He was playing this killer, and when he went to the two drug dealers' place, and he was eating this big Kahuna burgers, right, from the guy he was about to kill. And I think that was a very iconic kind of a moment when he bite into that big Kahuna burgers from Hawaii. It was like, that's a tasting motherfucking burger. Do you mind I drink a little bit? It feels. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing a good. I'm not doing a good Samuel Jackson impression, but yeah, I think that moment was like it was a very cool moment. Plus, it would look great over the kitchen. It probably bring me good appetite as well. So yeah, hopefully next time I'm doing this podcast, there will be a little painting a poster of Samuel Jackson playing Jules, eating a big Kahuna burgers over there over the counter, and you can see it. But besides that, I hope everybody's staying safe and yeah, don't get sick, don't get lost, stay safe. These days, like maybe um, exercise at home. I'm doing it. It feels great. I mean, like it's not the same deal like going to the gym for sure, but we gotta do what we can. Like you know, daily grind, I guess. All right. See you next week. Never off the boat.